Alright, I've done a little change or two for the material for this. Just changed the vertex colors of the subsurface, added a little bit of hue saturation value change. Also added a little bit of transmission and transmission roughness to the situation. Don't think I changed anything else here. I guess I did change the subsurface a little bit, moved down. Made the subsurface radius 1.1.1. If I remember right, this is the distance red, green, and blue light go through, and I want red to go through more than the others, so I set the radius to that. Actually, this probably should be much smaller, so maybe 0.1, 0.21, 0.21, something like that. Also, I'm thinking I moved the pumpkin closer. Move the pumpkin closer to her, and I think I need it to be about 50, perhaps not 50%, a little 10 or 15% taller than her. So I'm going to take the whole thing and scale up a little bit. Suppose I want things to scale from the bottom, so let's go back over here, edit here, highlight all the geometry, put it up here. You see the little white dot right below the pumpkin now? That's the origin, so I'm going to put it just inside there. Now I'm going to place the pumpkin back down here at the origin, and now if I scale it, it scales up and down from the bottom instead of from the center. Alright, so now if I look, it's not as tall as she is. Well, I guess it's right about as tall as her, but I want it to be the top of its head, not including the stem, to be, I say, about 10 or 15% taller than her, so maybe about like that. There we go. Probably still on it a little bit taller still, because if she's on the side here, her head's going to go through. I want her to be able to stand up somewhat comfortably inside there. I suppose she'll never be standing up in there. She'll be bending over to stick her head out the boys of that. So maybe definitely want it taller than that. So I think actually that will be about the right height. So the eyes are about waist height for her when she's wearing heels. So probably more like ribs height when she's not wearing heels. I guess it depends on the inside or the outside. Anyway, she should be able to comfortably bend over and be inside there. I suppose we could test that out right now. We can grab her rig, move it back in there. Do I have subdivision on? Feels kind of, yes I do. Alright, let's turn that down to 0. There we go, it's a bit snappier now. Alright, so she's inside the pumpkin. She'd probably be a little bit up so that she could, actually let's not move her rig. Let's leave the rig there. Let's get into the pose mode and grab the bit there and then move it up. So then she needs to be down a little bit like that. Probably she's got to be back a little bit. Bring her forward. Turn her like that. Then let's have her lean forward. Let's have her looking out. Right, so something like that. Suppose it does need to be a little bit taller for that to be comfortable. So let's take this, scale it up a little bit more. Object deploy, scale, rotation and scale. Location I don't want to apply because then the origin won't be down at the bottom anymore, so I never apply location. Alright, that looks a little more comfortable for her to climb in, climb out of the mouth, look out through the eyes. So I gotta have one girl looking out this eye and another girl looking out the other eye. I suppose I can do something like grab her hand here. Alright, I need it to be the active element. There we go. Alright, that's just a test pose to see if it works. It's a little bit weird there. we've got a very thick pumpkin here, so we're not going to be able to have her hand that bent. Alright, about like that. Suppose it's working. Let's see what it looks like here. Suppose I could make it the full screen and take a look. So here, the reason why her skin is so orange on the inside and not so much on the outside, again, this is the SSGI plugin that I'm on, and it's a special version of Blender that's compiled with SSGI in it, and that causes other colors of things to reflect on other things. So here, she's inside of a very orange object, and the orange object is lit up, so it's reflecting onto her skin, and that's why she's so orange here and less so like down here, for example. Right, that's pretty cute. Right, so I can have another character on here looking out this eye, perhaps even a third character sitting down here and looking out the mouth. Let's turn that back, rendering back off so that we can move it with some speed here. So one thing I was imagining when I was thinking about making the pumpkin is that there would be something bright here to light up the eyes and then perhaps the evil looking teeth, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it'll be better if the eyes are just made up of the girls and the mouth also the girls, and maybe one of the girls could even pretend like she's teeth by making sharp hands or something. I don't know. Something we can figure out a bit. Let's come back and make it the full size. Back to the workstation view. Alright, so if I go to a different one, she'll go back to normal. We can figure that pose out again later, and we'll get the other couple girls in there. The problem with my girls is they take enough RAM and enough compute power that when I try to have multiple ones in a scene at the same time, I don't think my workstation can handle it. So I am a little bit worried about the moment when I need to pull in Vera, Shantess, and Lilita. I suppose those will be the three girls, Giselle, Vera, Shantess, and Lilita. A little worried when I pull them in, it'll be too much for my workstation to handle. That's pretty funny looking. Let's go over here to the camera view. Something pretty funny about that. I guess at one point I'll have to do that, have the girls with their fearsome looks and fearsome poses coming at our jack-o'-lantern. Seems a bit funny. Here she's actually not looking at the jack-o'-lantern, so you don't get a strong sense when you can see her eyes, but when you cannot see her eyes, it looks here a bit like you're like, look, I'm coming at you. That'd be a rather funny. Alright, so what else do I want to do here? I suppose I want to add a little texture via the vertex color into the pumpkin. So let's go back to here where we can see it. Grab the pumpkin. Vertex painting, and what we want to do is grab certain stripes. Right. Suppose I want that one, this one. This one. Right, so I've got those stripes selected. It's gonna have a couple more on the side and the back here. Just picking some random stripes really. I don't have any method for deciding which stripes I should be highlighting, so I'm just grabbing whichever ones. Okay, so I've got all the stripes. Alright, but I didn't need the ones down at the bottom here. Let's get a few of those going. Don't want the stripe across, I want the stripes open down. Right, okay, so we've got all the stripes highlighted. Now I suppose what I want to do is unhighlight the ones open to the stem here. I'll leave these unhighlighted here. Something ugly happened here. Got a bunch of triangles. It's like these. I don't know why those got turned into triangles. Subdivision. Right, we're subdividing from a single vertex to a bunch of quads. So this is what happens in between. Don't know if I'll actually fix that, but I'll leave it alone. Okay, so let's take this and go for more of a yellowish colour, a little bit lighter. Actually, there we go. Right, we can draw. We can like paint. And what's going to happen now is you're going to see very clear stripes appearing on the pumpkin. And let's also take this and do a very much an orange, darker orange colour. Let's take that and make it even a bit brighter orange like that. There we go. And look at some very clear stripes on it. Let's bring it up to here as well. Change the blur. I can blur out this area here so it doesn't. Right. It's only going to blur the selection I have here, so I need to turn off that face only stuff. There we go. Now if I blur it, actually blurs it correctly. There we go. Get rid of some of those sharp edges. I'm going to take the whole thing and just kind of blur out a lot of these. Just kind of unsharpen those edges a little more. Do a lot up here next to the stem. Alright, let's see what that looks like. It's pretty good. I'm happy with my pumpkin. It's not like a real pumpkin. Oh, it's definitely looks a bit like wood. It's a bit like a wooden pumpkin, but I'm fine with that because it's not going to be real. And sometimes I like it when things are a little bit, what would you say, incongruous. It's a bit scary right there.